Well, the bad things in front of me didn't ignore my existence, but the bad things behind me did, so I'll take what I can get. Yeah, so there's an illusionary wall in this room. This guy thinks he's people, but there's no illusionary wall here. This is not a mimic. We finally have it, guys. We have the repeating crossbow. We could have farmed one out in Sanctum City already, but we finally have one. We have the unique one anyway. Now we can be Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing. What an oddly specific reference. Also, this room is terrifying. I mean, how many people know of Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing? That was a movie. Only the most cultured people. Yeah, but for it to be on TV, you had to have FX, which I don't think everyone had. And then I think it got moved to FXX. Because they wanted FX just to be like their garbage station. I don't remember what they moved onto that, but it wasn't anything, you know, good. That's the mace all the phantoms are using. Okay. Yep. That is the problem with this place. The bell gets hit, and it summons a lot of dudes. And we did not get the fragrant branch of yore. We almost lost 70,000 souls right there. Almost clipped a corner and fell off the ledge. This run back's going to be real painful. It's a lot of things that break your weapon. It is just a really long map that admittedly has a massive shortcut that we were nowhere close to, by the way. And it wouldn't be as bad if we could use bonfires. And really, all that's stopping us from using bonfires are these, like, 4 enemies. So we could, and by could, I mean we're absolutely going to. I'm gonna call that back. We're gonna despawn these 4 enemies, light the bonfire at the bottom of this lift. And then we are prepped for the 2 branching paths. As soon as we get the fragrant branch of yore, we can get the last bonfire in the shrine, which thankfully has nothing to do with the water temple layout. You go up onto that. You go up onto that ledge. So you're not even dealing with the water temple anymore. That ledge I remember being very mean. I don't remember why it's very mean, if it's a strong enemy or if it's an invasion. But it's super rude. And there's a reason for it being super rude as well. You can get... you can get your humanity back without using human effigy. So understandably, it's super rude, but... because that's, you know, pretty valuable, not having to use humanity anymore. It sort of exists as a failsafe mechanic. Weird that it's this far into the game, though. So the game basically says, hey, you did 80% of the game and you've burned all your humanities. We'll now let you become human for free. Free, quotes. But only after you've struggled to get this far. And I say 80% because there are not many mandatory bosses left. You have Giant Lord, you have Velstadt, you have Throne Watcher and Throne Defender, and you have Nasandra. Yeah, there's only 4 mandatory bosses left. I don't think you're required to fight Guardian Drake. So there could be 5 if Guardian Drake is actually required. Guardian Drake's also a real son of a bitch of a boss fight. Wow, the tracking on that was... Am I playing Monster Hunter? Good lord. But I will say, once we finish Undead Crypt, all the rest of the areas are actually pretty good. Aldia's Keep has another cheap area in it where you have to fight with no weapons and no armor, like in Drangleic Castle. But otherwise, it's fine. It's a long corridor, you put on the Hawk Ring and you just shoot. Dragon Airy is a really great skybox. The keep on the other side of Dragon Airy is some hot bullshit. But with the way we're playing, I'm actually not worried about it. It'll just be a much more deliberate farm forward to bonfire, farm forward to bonfire ordeal. Otherwise, yeah, it is some hot bullshit going through that area. And then the giant memories are all... It's one boss fight. And it is a whole bunch of just slowly trotting forward. Shoot the giants with poison arrows. Slowly trotting forward. Shoot the giants with poison arrows. Just like we did in Black Gulch. I don't know if you can despawn the enemies in the giant memories, so that'll be a fun thing to check. Is that going to be part of the challenge, despawning everything in the giant memories? Who knows? You can't despawn everything in the dark. But we do need to beat the dark. We beat the first section of the dark under Castle Drangleic. We need to go to Black Gulch for the second instance of the dark. And then Shaded Ruins has Crypt Lurker. One of the worst bosses in the game. It's a boss that just spams hexes. And hexes are very unbalanced in Dark Souls 2. They eventually reined in player hexes, I believe, but Dark Lurker's hexes are still very powerful. So I'm hoping by the time we get around to that, I'm sufficiently just juiced and it won't be a problem. Though my weapon is dark infused, so that doesn't seem like the best plan. I may need to uninfuse my weapon for that fight. But because we're putting in... Because I'm putting in so many points into Faith and Int, Dark Infusions scale pretty well. I have no clue why I went to my menu there. I think the second bonfire in Undead Crypt, the farming route will be based on dropping behind the shield dude, because I can't really despawn the Lost Hollows that crawl out of the ground. I could despawn the skeletons in that room, but I think I'm going to treat the path as dropping down behind the shield dude, and that spits you out at the bonfire, and then you solve the rock room from there. I think that's how I'm going. Oh no, I'm losing my voice. It's only been an hour of speaking. I drank 14 ounces of tea and I drank probably 12 ounces of water. What do you mean drink more water? Well, the tea was for lunch, because I was trying to make, you know, leftover curry. But turns out curry continues to tenderize meat. And it just became disgusting. It looked like meat, and then I took a bite of it, and it was just disintegrating into nothing. It was truly awful. So, you know, my lunch was tea. And then I just said, screw it, and I ordered a chicken sandwich. And I continued to farm Dark Souls while I waited for that to show up. Just need these guys to be despawned so we can keep going. would really like to move my bonfire forward to Undead Keep, so I need you to not be here anymore. I think I can run faster if I remove everything that is not my sword and just get my equip load as low as possible. But then I have to, you know, fight all 4 of those enemies without getting hit, and I don't know how much faster it truly is. Because I'm going through water for a lot of this, which just kills your run speed. That's why I hug the wall as hard as I do. If you just get your toes wet, you can still run at full speed, but if your shoes go underwater, that's 1 speed reduction. If your knees go underwater, that's another speed reduction. Or maybe it's knees and hips. I don't know. Walking through water really kills your speed. And of course, if I were to, you know, die in this farming, that would be 70,000 souls gone. Which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot, but it is still a level. Referring back to Dark Lurker, I will probably fight them after I do the 3 DLC. Because the reward for beating all the DLC and all the optional bosses in base game... Okay, not all the optional bosses in base game. Most of the optional bosses in base game is a hat that makes it so you never go hollow. Which is what I'm gonna need for Dark Lurker. Because you have to pay 1 human effigy to open the portal. So, by having no option to go hollow, I'm only using my human effigies to open the portal. I'm not using them to, get my health back for the boss fight as well. I think when I beat Dark Lurker on console, I did it at 70% health. Whatever Ring of Binding lets you drop down to. Because it's not just you're fighting Dark Lurker. It's you're fighting all the shade enemies in the Dark Portal to get to Dark Lurker's arena. So by the time you get to Dark Lurker, you've already fought Hovel, you've already fought Hovel and a bunch of other dudes. And then you're fighting a boss. Oh, hey. Progress. Progress. Apparently there's a railroad in Germany that has been closed for the last year because a bit of track was deemed unsafe due to miles of badger tunnels made underneath it. You know what the solution to that is, right? You just unleash an army of dachshunds. Dachshunds were specifically bred to deal with badgers and other hole-dwelling animals. Hey Aldia, how are you? I forgot you were there.
Life is brilliant, beautiful. It enchants us to the point of obsession. Some are true to their purpose, they are fulfilled, flesh and mind. One man lost his own body, but lingered on as a head. Others chase the charms of love. What is it that drives you? Once, the Lord of Light banished dark and all that stand from humanity. And men assumed a fleeting form. These are the roots of our world. Men are props in state of life, and no matter how tender, how explicit, a lie will remain a lie. Young Harlow, knowing this, do you still desire peace?
I don't know what the question was.
Venric, the near true monarch, is here, and not far off. But what does it mean? You, neither born with great wisdom granted by the fates. What is it you seek? You cannot even say yourself. You shall meet again, young Harlow.
Thanks, Aldia. Let me light my bonfire now. Woo! That was a spicy dodge. Okay, I was just checking if those guys were part of the world now. No, they're one and dones.